Salvete, ladies. Today our lesson is on the second declension neuter, which is lesson 16 in Latin for Americans. And essentially what we're learning today is that second declension nouns can either have a masculine gender or a neuter gender. And if they have a neuter gender, the declension is going to be slightly different from the masculine. You'll see why in a second. So, just as a reminder, all second declension nouns, regardless of what gender they are, end in a long I in their genitive singular. That is how you know they are in the second declension, right? So, second declension masculines, second declension neuters, both end in a long I in their genitive singular. So I have the dictionary entry here for we're, weary, which means man, and donum, doni, which means gift. You can see that man is masculine and gift is neuter, but both of the genitive singular endings end in a long I. There are a couple ways in which second declension neuters are going to be different from second declension masculines. The first way has to do with something called the neuter law. The neuter law states that all neuter nouns, regardless of what declension they are, must have the same ending in the nominative and the accusative. So the nominative and the accusative singular are going to be the same ending. The endings for the nominative plural and accusative plural are going to be the same as well. Another distinct difference between second declension masculine and second declension neuter is that all plural neuter nouns end in an A in the nominative and accusative plural, of course. So they have that A ending, and that is distinct from the masculine second declension. So why don't we look at the endings? I have highlighted on this chart the differences between the second declension neuter and the second declension masculine. So the first thing you'll see is that the nominative singular for neuter second declensions is a UM, and that has to do with the neuter law, right? If the accusative is a UM, then the nominative has to be a UM. I have put on this chart the vocative endings for the second declension neuter, even though you're not going to encounter neuter vocatives pretty much at all. But I like a nice clean pattern, so I'm putting them on the chart anyway. So the endings for the singular second declension neuter are e, o, o. Okay. Now in the plural, remember the neuter plural nouns have to end in an A in the nominative and accusative. So there's another difference between the masculine and the accusative. So the plural endings for second declension neuter are a, orum, is, a, is. Okay, so let's see how these endings decline on an actual noun. We'll use a paradigm or example noun, donum, doni, again that means a gift. Neuter, so it's going to follow the second declension neuter endings, so donum, doni, dono, donum, dono. You can see that the translation of the various case endings doesn't change from declension to declension, so it's still, the, of, the, to, for, the, by, with, or from, the, so on and so forth. In the plural, dona, donorum, donis, dona, donis. So there you go. If we have second declension, if we have neuter nouns, we need to have neuter adjectives to describe them, right? So, neuter adjectives of the first, second declension are going to follow the same pattern as the second declension neuter nouns. Okay, so those endings you just learned, e, o, a, orum, is, a, is, are the same for neuter adjectives. Okay, I just want to take this opportunity to remind you guys that you get the adjective base from the feminine nominative singular. I know we just learned this a couple of lessons ago, but I think it bears repeating. If you want to know if the E that you find in the masculine nominative singular stays in the adjective for all the rest of its forms, or if it drops out, you need to know what the feminine is. So Pulcher, pulchra, pulchrum, the E falls out. Liber, libera, liberum, the E stays in. So when you decline this in the neuter, that E is going to go away for pulchrum. So pulchrum, pulchri, pulchro, pulchrum, pulchro, etc. But the E is going to stay in for liberum. So liberum, liberi, libero, liberum, liberi. Libero, excuse me. Ooh, my tongue got ahead of my head. So what I've done in this chart is given you an example of a noun adjective combination. So adonum pulchrum is a beautiful gift, doni pulchri of the beautiful gift, and so on and so forth. All right, please write down any questions you might have and bring them into class, and I will talk to you guys then. Have a lovely night.